Hello, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Look at the time, it's 11 o'clock already. Where's the day going? Well, the day can now stop. It just stops here for an hour while you just go, that's it. You grab yourself a cup of tea, you grab yourself a nice little sit down and you just take it easy. That's right. This is Cafe Clairvoyance. I'm Phil Griggs, your host, and I'm joined this morning by the wonderful Guiomar, who's the astrologer and psychologist, which we always have this regular Wednesday show, and always interactive, always thought-provoking, and always lovely to see you guys coming on the show. And yes, good, great. Right, let's get a bit of intro going, and then, guys, we'll be back with you very, very soon. Yes, so it's Wednesday. I think it's the 5th. It's the 5th all day today, the 5th all day of August, and already this year is flying by, isn't it? It's crazy. And very interesting discussions coming this morning about astrological events which are going up in the skies, which are reflecting very much to what we're going through at this present time. Also, last night, did you watch the show last night? If you didn't watch the show last night, then please go back and re-watch the video there. If I call it video, is that the right way to say it now? Well, whatever it is, the screening. I'm sure the producer would just go, "Tsh, do you not know the technical name for this now?" Anyway, so to go re-watch the show there, and it was absolutely incredible. We had Alessandra on over from the USA. She came on and she did a talk discussion about how she'd come from a place of refuge just about here. She was in a victim support unit just about, and she was also a victim of relationship abuse, and then took herself from the point where she was homeless up to being one of the most successful people in her area. In fact, in Denver, Colorado, she's been nominated, I think, for first or second prize for International Businesswoman for Colorado in the USA. And but her story and her ethics, her way of dealing with conflict, a way of overcoming the odds, and a way of dealing with things provoked so much reaction and thought from you guys. It was just incredible. So we've actually invited her back on the show again. Also nice to hear that she's invited me onto her show over there. So I'll be able to chat, because she chats more than me. There's few people who could do that, but I met one. It was Alessandra. So that was great fun though. And yeah, absolutely amazing. Lovely to see so many of you guys on the show this morning. And I hope you're well. Are you well out there? You look okay. Yes. Especially when you sit down now and just take time out. That's it. Don't answer the phone. Just let people just come and go. Just do your thing. I mean, like Thaler, if you're in a garden centre, you could just put your iPhone, your iPad in amongst the flower pots whilst you're watering the roses and just watching the show. Yes, how's that? And Lisa Haw, good morning to you. We got so many people on this morning. Let's say hello to you all. Susanna says, yes, it was amazing. And I know Susanna put in a lot last night and this morning, because how much of a release the show was last night for her. Karen says good morning too, and as does Guiomar. She's coming on very shortly, and we're also yes, it's good morning, lovely people. Yes, that means yes to everyone out there. It's not just us. I know we're lovely, but everyone else out there is lovely too. And Lisa Hall says, good morning to you. And Guillermo's laughing. How are we going to keep a straight face? I don't know. And Sherry says, good morning, Phil and Debbie. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning. And as does Sarah and everyone else here who's coming forwards. And also, this is nice, Guillermo sends an astrological hug. That's a Neptune thing. I'm sure it's a Neptune. Maybe it's a Venus thing. Oh, there you go. Anyway, right. Sounds interesting. We'll have to watch the show and catch up, as I missed. I'll tell you what, you'll watch it and you'll probably watch it again, because I know some people who are watching the show have gone back to rewatch it because they thought it was so thought-provoking. So that was amazing. Anyway, without further ado, what should we go and do now? Should we go and get Guiomar on? I think we should. Just before we do that, this, guys, is what you need to do. Yes, so guys, what we'd like you to do is to share the shows out there. Let people know about this. It's totally free. That's all we ask you to do. We don't ask money from you, anything. We just say to you, please share the shows. That's all our requirement is. And let more people know about this. And Thela says, exactly that. She's in the garden centre, earphones in, hose in hand. Lovely, lovely. Okay, those lovely little roses are going to be... soaked, saturated, I should think, while she's just holding it in one direction, just listening to the show. The poor little Rose is there going, can we come up for air? And even Val says good morning. But in the meantime, no. Some people say she was born under the stars. Some people say that she invented horoscopes. Some people say here she has her own ideas. And some people say here she's just magic. This is Guiomar. Welcome to Guiomar the show, and hello. How are you this morning?
Hi Phil. Hi everybody. Doing good. Here with my coffee.
Ah, your coffee mug there. Wonderful, wonderful. So this is Guiomar. This is you guys. Welcome on to the show here, and yes. So very interesting times we're going through, and a lot of people saying to me at the moment here how they're going through very challenging times. As much as we've had this amazing full moon in Aquarius, it's also created a lot of challenges, isn't it? It's been doing all sorts to people. So yes, and it's interesting too, because we're having a little discussion there, and it's a very obviously a bit of a delicate discussion to have because of what happened in Beirut yesterday, but astrologically what the picture says about this, and very interesting here. So we're having a little chat about that this morning, and also we've got your mini readings, and we've also got the talks discussions going on, and any questions you got, guys, just send them in. We may not be able to do your astrology charts this morning if you're writing in live on the show, but we'll see what we can do. Hence we ask you to do this beforehand because it takes a little while to compile the astrology charts, get your numerology, and get the stuff ready. But no. Okay, so how are we this week? How are things out there this week? Are we in for a bit of a easier time, or is it still?
Well, I think we should never forget the backdrop we're in. So I'm going to really I can't. The word doesn't come out. Amplify the point of view that we're in. So for the last, think about 60 years, Neptune and Pluto have been together, 60 or more, I can't remember, since the 1940s. That would be 60, 70, 80 years. Neptune and Pluto have been going together at the same time. So with a difference of maybe 10 degrees at the most, but they're traveling together. This isn't normal because Neptune and Pluto is Pluto's orbit is further than Neptune's orbit, but there is a point, since it's way more elliptical, that it coincides, and it's at the same distance from the Sun than Neptune, and that's going on for 100 years, since 1946 almost. No, sorry, 1940 I think it was, to 2039, something like that. Okay, so what that's talking about, it has everything to do with Pluto, power, Neptune, illusion, image, the imagination. So it's everything that goes from the power of mass media to our power to be able to create with our imagination. And that's the journey we're in. Okay? So imagine this is a theater, that's the backdrop. Okay? That's the end backdrop. Then having said that, we are following, like right now, this year, 2020, there's this big, heavy conjunction in Capricorn. So we have 3 planets. Mars was also there before in Capricorn, which is the sign that talks about structures. And structures are social structures, but they're also it's really mental structure. So it's our programming, our mind, how all these thoughts that we have that we've never really considered about. It's like our programming. So it's all about this year, about all our programming just coming down and falling to pieces because we have to install a new program in, right? So that's what all this stuff is happening this year. Plus, there's a big theme about individuation. About being us instead of being. So when we are functioning from ego, we are totally functioning according to their social programming, and we are codependent. So we have to drop all those programs. It's as if we were computers. It's as if we were hooked up and linked to each other, and like no one computer could actually do a full program on its own because it relies on all the other computers. So it's like if we were interlinked with everybody else, but we had no ability to actually program or play a program on our own, right? And that's what's coming to an end. So we're actually going to be able to write and make our own programs function with that power of the mind. So to do that, we have to release,
great.
Release all the old programming, right? Okay. And there's a lot of inertia in the Capricornian structures that Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. So Saturn is like, it's hard. It says, okay, let's do this right. Let's be mindful about it. Let's concentrate on what we're doing. Pluto says, I want to break things to pieces. I want to, what's useful, what's not. Let's chuck away what isn't. And it's kind of violent or very destructive. And it can be very violent when you add things to it, which is happening right now.
Yeah.
And Jupiter, what it does, it says, okay, if you haven't seen yet what your programs are, I'm going to come along and I'm just going to make them really big so you can see them very obvious, so you can really get fed up of it and go, oh my God, what am I doing? I don't want to do this, right? So at the same time, I love your face, at the same time,
I love it. I keep pulling faces.
Mars, Chiron, and Lilith are in Aries. So Aries is about the warrior. It's about the masculine energy. It's also like when the masculine energy is not able to express itself, because it's masculine energy, but it's also your individuation. It's the power of your soul. It's your inner light, right? So when that inner light cannot express itself, which it needs to express itself because it's a masculine type energy, what happens is it creates tension. And right now Lilith is conjunct Mars. So Lilith in Aries conjunct Mars, it's saying it's memories of being locked up. So we're being locked up by our own mental structures, and that reflects in the external structures. So we think they are locking us, the government is locking us up. They're not letting us go freely from one country to another. They want us to wear a mask. So it's like, I feel locked up. I can't stand this. So you get Lilith, who doesn't like to be locked up and can react very explosively, with Mars, which is all about the warrior, and Mars rules accidents, okay? And that is making a square, which is a tense aspect to Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter.
Look at that violence there. Look at that violence, that aggression. I've never seen you so aggressive.
That's the energy, exactly. So we just had an Aquarius full moon. So Aquarius is all about change. You know, so it's like, this can't hold on anymore. And it's right before that, it was, there's a lot of Mercury Pluto going on. So it's like a very obsessive energy, like, no, I want to hold on to my old pattern. I want to be obsessive. I want to just do things one way all the time. I don't want to change. I don't want to change. So all that egoic resistance was coming up last week.
Yep.
So add the Aquarius full moon, which is like, guys, leave it. Of course, Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus rules Aquarius, and it's like a lightning bolt in Taurus, which is the matter.
Yes.
And then it just needed a little bit of igniting the fuel. Hence, Beirut, and what happened with the this incredible images of like a whole building just blowing up, like several buildings just going into pieces, like if it were a nuclear bomb.
It was that mushroom cloud, that white mushroom cloud, the way that destructive energy just went out. That was scary.
Exactly. So the ones, we were born in the middle of the 1960s, right?
Yep.
So what happens, I'm 66, you're 65 or 64?
I was in the early part, you were in the latter part.
Yeah. So in the middle of the 1960s, we had a Pluto. Right now we have a Pluto-Saturn conjunction. In the middle of the 60s, it was a Pluto-Saturn opposition.
Yes.
And so Chiron was also conjunct to Saturn, okay?
Yes.
And Uranus was conjunct to Pluto. And it was making, at least when I was born, an aspect to Jupiter.
Yeah.
So same protagonist, different combination, the same energy. And what happened there was that somebody was about to press the button on the nuclear bomb. We were in the Cold War.
That's right.
So the fear, the energy of the Cold War, and the realization, the public, the general realization that, oh my God, we can just go to pieces at any moment, right?
Yeah.
That was in the air. So anybody with a Pluto-Saturn conjunction, especially, or Pluto-Saturn combination, like an opposition or square, is going to really feel inside their body what it is. It's sort of like a fear of, you can say it's a fear of a nuclear bomb. So this explosion is going to trigger that cellular memory of, oh my God, we could have gone to pieces,
We
right?
could have done.
Yeah. So it's like it's a primeval fear that we have in there, and the ones who have this combination in the chart are really going to feel it deep inside. But in the long run, nothing is negative because life wants you to be more you. And if you're not releasing your mental structures, it's normal that we live in our environment, or even the good thing is now we can have experiences, like we can experience Beirut without being in Beirut and without having anything happening in our house. But what we're actually experiencing from seeing those images is our internal, it's the explosion of our internal mind patterns, you know, those structures that are limiting us and that are not allowing us to really be us, but are just attaching us to the old, which isn't viable anymore.
One of the things.
That's that clear.
Yeah, that's great. No, brilliant. I tell you what, I thought that was absolutely, what a great way of expressing things. Have a sip of coffee. Put the fan on. No, that was fantastic. That was absolutely brilliant way to open the show and express this energy the way it is at the minute. So you guys out there, are you feeling this particular energy you're going through at the moment, where you're feeling that there is something that the old that maybe you're trying to hold on to? Or are you ready to move on and change, but scared with changes? I relate this to two songs here. Shirley Bassey singing Life in the Old-Fashioned Way, which is always a nice romantic song, thinking we like the old stars. But then you've got David Bowie singing Changes. Changes. But are we going to go through changes? Are we going to go in the old-fashioned way? But as you say here, the Saturn-Pluto mix is wanting us to change, to transform. And often I see Pluto as in like the Tower card in the tarot deck. But it's also when we look at, for instance, old buildings, decayed buildings, you get the great big iron ball of the workman that just comes along and smacks the old buildings to bits. And then reforms, and up comes something new, whether it's a centre, a theatre, or whether it's new housing, whatever it is. But it's modernisation, and it's different. But it's similar as well. I see this as like the rocket that goes up, bang, it explodes, like on Guy Fawkes. But the sparkles is what, wow, you're attracted to with Pluto. So sometimes that transformation is magical, even though we don't want it. Even though you don't think we want it, but when you see the explosion and see the new stuff, maybe it's pretty good. But you guys there, yes, are you going through things here? Now, one of the things I thought was very, very interesting is that people talking to me and that they're losing interest in government. They're losing interest in the media. They're losing interest in people or things that used to have control over them, like authority, bureaucracy and things like this, because I think it's too controlling. And how people are now trying to redefine themselves. I mean, even when I was talking to, and I thought this is brilliant, talking to Alessandra last night, she was saying here that when she gets kicked down, she finds a creative way to use that power of pain and transform it into something which she causes, or she transforms into positive, into something which helps her become stronger. And I think for all of us, we've been knocked down in some way. And Susanna was giving a lot of comments last night, and she's giving this morning. And I think if we could use that energy which has hurt us in the past, to transform it into power, that's the beneficial side that I would look at Pluto and how we're transforming, going through, releasing the old Saturn.
I would just add a little thing there, because it's not, the power of Pluto is not to make us stronger, because there is a tension and stronger, which is this lower Saturnian energy. It's like energy of concentration. So if there's so much, and power energy and we collapse, it's going to create more resistance.
Yes.
So we want power. We want to have more like the image of opening up and like, imagine an explosion and the heavens open and then you can be more you. So
yes.
It's about empowering ourselves and being more ourselves, not about just like being stronger and resisting and being able to fight more, because that's the old that we're letting go of.
Yes.
Eve,
yes.
People
Sorry.
talk about resilience, and it's not. Resilience is really not the issue here, because okay, like if you have no tolerance to frustration and you learn a little bit of resilience, that's fine. But for everybody else, resilience is about believing and feeding the idea that life is difficult.
Yeah.
And that we're actually, what's going on is that's what's blowing up. That's what's going to pieces. Life is not difficult. Life is magic. So if we talk about resilience and strength and hard words like that, we're slipping back into the old patterns, and we're going to track those kind of experiences until we let go of it.
I think so too. I'm really seeing this myself and experiencing it with people is how we then start to look at ourselves. And that's one of the benefits I think that Corona had, because we were locked down. We had to look at someone, and it was the person in the mirror looking back at us, and how we could see ourselves and redefine and just feel that, yes, it's the old systems are going, but who are you? Who am I? Who am I? Who are we, that we can become better people and transform our lives and become happier people, no matter what change it means you go through. And so I think it's an amazing thing. So as we go through August, we just had a full moon, which of Aquarius, we've got on about sort of 12 days now, I think, isn't it? 12 days, we've got a new moon, which is going to be in Leo. And we think we've got a more harmonious one there, do you think?
In the new moon Leo, probably, yes. I haven't checked out what it's going to be like in 2 weeks, but I could do. But yeah, so today's the moon. Where's the moon here? So the new moon in Leo, 2 degrees. No, it's a few days afterwards. Okay.
Yes.
Like about 18th of August or so. Yeah. 18th?
Yes, I think it is about around the 18th. I think it is around about the 18th of August is the new moon in Leo.
It's a little bit more harmonious, but there would still be lots of tension, because Saturn and Mars Lilith would still be in aspect to Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn. But the thing is, we've been going on with that for a while now, so we kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
But things will still blow up.
Just a question here on that. Just question on that. That bit about the Mars Saturn bit, you say that we've been used to. Would you say that this is helps us to provoke the change within those aspects?
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely, so because Saturn is normally not very well considered, but it's about containment. It's about sustaining. And so Saturn is just like keeping the reins in from that Mars Lilith, in a way. Jupiter is like saying, nah, moving it there, but Saturn is keeping the reins in. So Saturn helps us contain our energy, which is very interesting. Of course, it can also, like, if you don't process it properly, if you don't let go of what you have to let go, what can happen is you can have like different, different ailments that have to do with anger. For example, like boils on the skin or spots, or you can have infections, anything that is red, hot, and like that. That's a Mars energy affliction, or that can happen if the energy is retained too much. Also, I would like to add about what I said before about the Beirut incident. So if you guys see the video, just focus on the one hand, the attraction we feel. So the attraction you feel to see the video once, and it's like, oh my God, what did I see? Did all that blow up? Did all that really happen? So that kind of attraction it's Pluto attraction, right? It's like, let's see it over and over again, no? But my invitation is for you to just envision that, see that explosion, and just think, Okay, so that's reflecting something internal of mine. So something internal of mine, some structure inside me is blowing up into pieces.
Yeah.
And I know it's a good thing. So I allow the universe to let the process flow through me. I'm not going to resist it.
I
I'm
think,
going to allow it.
yes, yes, that's a big, big thing. I think for a lot of us to experience this transformation and change that we're going through is enormous. Yes, we love you writing in here. Susanna says, definitely, Phil, everything happens for a reason. Other people are coming back here saying that even the producer says, oh yes, everything is changing around here. So, guys, how are you feeling? How are you feeling this energy? Are you feeling like, yeah, I'm going through a process of change? Have you got resistance here? What is it that's blocking you? Is it other people, perhaps? Is it a job that you've been held back by? Is it a family thing you've been held back by? Is it something in you that holds you back here? This is an interesting thing for if you want to discuss this, and we can chat about this morning. And as much as we've got the readings here, we've still got time to talk to you guys about this transformation, this change. Go on.
Yeah, I suggest. I suggest. So what the key here is, like, there's a lot of obsessive energy, this repetition. So I can't stop thinking of the same thing. It's going around in circles and and that's why can't I free my focus from this? So I suggest an exercise. Which is, first, observe how you're obsessing over something and just, can't get it out of your mind. So the first thing you're going to do is accept it. Okay, I'm obsessing. I'm just going to let myself flow into the obsession. I'm going to see if I can obsess more. So if you actually let yourself flow or tell yourself to obsess more, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to release the obsession and stop identifying with it. And once you do that, what I want you to do is just give thanks for whatever it is that was there that has served you in the past. And now the next thing I want you to do is just get up from your seat and turn around, or sit on another chair and look in a different direction.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because it's going to help you do that change of mindset.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. There's a bit like timeline.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
moving some particular point to another. Change the energy from where you are going to another. Another thing to go do is to really energize your heart. Energize your heart, that when you feel you're going through a stress, you're processing that same old scenario that's going in your mind here. Yeah, we often get angry about it. The more angry we get with it, the more it's there, and the more we're rejecting and accepting it, rather than just say, yeah, okay. But the other thing to go do, two little fingers on your heart. It's just acknowledge your heart and just tap infrequently, not like 1, 2, 3, 4, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, however you want to go, and just send a nice thought from your heart to your mind. Because the moment you start tapping your heart, the emotions start to open and your mind goes, okay, what's going on here? You're rewiring your thinking, your experience to something. It's almost like, say here, I totally love and accept myself. I know this situation is frustrating me, but I totally love and accept myself. And just accepting this, and it just relaxes. Just let's go, Will.
So what's interesting is, so when you're looking at the obsessive part, you want to look downwards, because the obsession is a very downwards looking energy, right? And you want to connect with that energy in your body and accept it, right? And then when you turn around, you can do that. What Phil says, it's perfect. So, and you just look straight, and you look like if you were looking to the future, and you do the exercise that Phil said about the heart, but then you can envision like a sun, and that sun symbolizes your essence or what you're going to feel like in the future, and you want to bring that into you with your imagination. Okay, so you're gravitating, you're pulling gravitationally the sun into your heart.
Yes.
And you want to connect with that. That's going to free your energy from the obsession. It's going to open you up to new possibilities, and the mind isn't intervening in the process.
Absolutely. You're actually rewiring, going subconscious thought patterns, and getting your synapses to react in different ways, sending messages off in different routes rather than the same old routes. That's a workshop in itself there. Doing heart tapping and astrology and remapping the mindset is a brilliant way to do this. I've had to do a lot of that, and I think a lot of us have had to do a lot of this in the past to get to where we are. Spiritual people never have an easy journey in life. Never do.
Yeah. About the obsessive Pluto energy, like so often we get stuck in that energy, and it's really all you have to do is get up and out of the chair that you're sitting at.
Yes.
Because as
Yeah.
soon as you move and you shift directions, then your whole energy shifts. But if you stay
Yes.
still, it's
Yes.
just going to get worse and worse and worse. And what normally people do is that they get up out of the chair when it's just too much. So what happens is that if you move, you feel relief. But if you feel relief, you're stuck, because relief, what relief does is it programs the obsession.
Yep.
So every time you feel relief from attention, you're actually reprogramming what you don't want. You don't want to feel relief. You want to, before it gets too much, you want to get up and move. That's very important too.
Absolutely. Moving the physical body from the energy. If you imagine that you're in an energy bubble, experience this, getting up out that bubble, moving somewhere else, and reframing that. I think that's a huge thing there. Beautiful thing. Okay, lovely. What a lovely discussion this morning. Well, lovely chit chats, lovely chit chat as usual, usual. Good. Okay, so let's kind of have a look and see who's out there who's pre-booked their reader this morning. Just going to have a little look and see where we're going. Now, this is an interesting one, really interesting. What just for say that Susanna says, so true, so true, so true. Cafe Clairvoyance says yes, yes. Right. Okay, Joe. Joe, good morning to you, and I hope you're well. I hope you're well. I think you're in Bedfordshire there, aren't you? And good morning to you. You've gone for the colour red, come for the colour red here, and your question is, and this is interesting, really interesting. I loved, when I got this through here and read this, I thought, this is fascinating. It's a good one to go and work with this. I seem to push people away. For some for the right reasons, and recently been speaking to an amazing guy, but he has gone distant. Why? Gone distant. Why? Now, there's a little bit, I think there's a little bit of discussion come up here. In neurology, you're 336. 36. Your sixth part here is to build foundations, relationships, build community, build something around you here which you feel you can manage, or you can actually build your life and feel good with. But the focus on this here before the six is the 3-3. 3 as 6. It's the way it works. Anyway, this is a high energy you have here, terrific high energy, and in many ways here you're the healer. You're the healer. You'll come down here to heal people, to understand healing itself within yourself, and also to understand that you're there to heal people. Now, one thing I'd say here is you seem to push people away. Well, actually, is it because they're meant to go away? They're perhaps meant to. One of the reasons I would say here, just by your numerology on this here, is that perhaps they're not the people who fit into your life. And in a sense, they don't need you at this present time when it comes to healing. Not as a friend, but it comes to healing. Maybe at a later time, they come into your life and say, I need you. I need your help. I need your help, Joe. And and also here, your own life experiences yourself really open up the ability to be able to comfort, support, and give empathy to people when what they go through. And when it comes to Speaker's amazing guy, he has gone distant. Why here? Does he pick up this energy for you? Does he pick up this strong healing? And sometimes here, I think you've got enormous energy there if you tapped into it, not to possess or to manifest things through wanting, through a negative, but actually say here, I attract the right people. I attract the right people. So you are pulling them towards you, but you're just saying the right people. It doesn't have to be just this one person. I just attract. And when we attract the energy here of the 3-3s, you're a very powerful healer. You're way up there, your vibration, your energy. It's almost like whatever you were doing in the spirit world before you came back down here was mighty strong. Mighty strong, but you came down here to feel the depth of the earth to suffer, to feel pain, to take this pain on, be able to use this to help people, and not to feel rejected. Sometimes people don't want this. Sometimes this is an important thing they do want, and that's an interesting concept there, I think. Okay, let's go pop over the road to Javier. Let's go and have a word with. Let's go have a word with Guiomar and see what she'd like to say here.
Hi, Joe. So, unfortunately, we don't have your birth time, which would be interesting. But by what Phil just said now, it could be a Scorpio rising. You are a Scorpio. You're a Scorpio sun. So there are several issues here. There's a Scorpio sun is with Neptune, is conjunct Neptune, so that can make for a dreamy, like have like a lot of dreams or illusions. Also, and also Pluto is the aspecting it's a semi-sextile with the Sun and Neptune. So that talks about having like an idealized father image. When that happens, one can compare every single partner or possible partner to the father, and nobody's really good enough. Okay, that's one thing. On the other hand, the moon, which is in Virgo, is also making an aspect to Neptune. So there's also an idealization of the sacrifice mommy made. So there's too much. Also, there's a moon Venus, so there's too much idealization relative to relationships and in comparison to your parents. And your South Node is in Libra, which says like your focus should not be on relationships this time. It's more about North Node in Aries, about you leading, about you being you. So as Phil said, there's too much energy into wanting or needing a relationship. And that's not where your focus should be. This doesn't mean that you cannot have a relationship. It means that your focus has to be, you have Venus in Capricorn, in what you're achieving in life. But at the same time, Lilith is in Gemini. Mercury has no aspects, which talks about you being able to create what you want from your mind. But Lilith is with Saturn, which means that first you have to free that mind from social conditioning, open up to symbols and different ways of communicating to be able to also nurture yourself and access other levels of expression. So that's a priority for you, not achieving a partner. As I said, it doesn't mean that you cannot have one. It means that that should not be your focus, because it's not going to work that way. Because if not, you're going to be too needy and too stuck in the past, trying to repeat something that happened in the past.
I think it's a very strong point you make there. And in fact, Joe, how would it feel if you felt magic about yourself? For all you've been through, for all you've understood, for all you've experienced there, the amount of people who have kicked you down, the amount of people who have hurt you, the amount of experiences, the wonderful experiences, the light, the love, the challenges you faced here, to be able to look in the mirror and say, you're magic, you are magic. How would that feel if you really to focus on that and build that imagery there? Because this is learning about the self. I'll try and put that somewhere or another. You'll be able to see that. Maybe it's even worse there. Okay, right. But it's the magic of yourself, and I think if you're looking that way, you'll have an incredible journey here. And then you'll find here that some relationships that you're meeting here are the most oddest of types going, because you may even meet people who are actually coming from abroad. You got the two of rods here, people from abroad, and you may even meet people here who just seem to walk into your life rather than you having to do anything. And I think if you're focusing on that light there and feeling that abundance, feeling that light, feeling that energy, I think then that you would of yourself. I think it's magic.
Yeah, and also like the Pluto Moon combination. She's got a Pluto Moon. You have a Pluto Moon conjunction in Virgo. That accounts for a very Pluto Moon makes you very needy and wanting, and so you like thinking that you have to do things right to be able to be loved, and it's not about that. And if you are a Scorpio rising, so if you were born like around dawn or just when the sun came out, then your Lilith is going to be in the 7th house, and in that case, if you relate to a partner from your neediness, it's really going to blow up in your hands. It's really not going to work.
Yeah.
Also understand with all that Scorpio energy, because it's Sun, Neptune, Mercury in Scorpio, and Pluto Moon, and that's connected to Pluto. The intensity of emotions that you have relate to traumatic past lives memories or your ancestors' memories. Yeah. So you might think, all that exaggerated emotions is not actually from your present. So unless you're able to understand that and release the cellular memories, whenever you approach a partner, a possible partner, without knowing, because of your original neediness, you will dump. This is something that everybody does, but if you have a lot of Scorpio energy, you have to be extra careful. But you will dump all those emotions on the partner. And when you do that, that collapses the divine masculine, and there's two reactions: violence or fleeing.
So yes, yeah.
So it's better to flee. That's why Scorpio attracts sometimes very intense and even violent relationships, because when you dump too much emotions on the masculine, it will cause the divine masculine to collapse and show the lower version of the masculine.
Yes.
Which in this case scenario is fleeing.
Yes.
It's too much.
That's a very, very interesting energy, and a way to put that across there about Scorpio. It's a bit to say all Scorpios are feeling this. We can all feel this because it's where Scorpio is in our chart, and also what their Pluto's up to. But it's interesting here, Joe, just to say here, I think really is about focusing on, as much as we say here about needing of other people, is the needing of yourself to say, hey, I am in a great place and I love me and my life is going in front of me to build something awesome. And then people are going to fit into your life and go, Joe, look at you. You're amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, sometimes a great big thing.
It's important that that vibration stays high, because like the 33, when it's high, it's very high. But when it's low, it's depression.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because when we're up here now, 33, sometimes it's very difficult to understand what everybody else is doing because they're not on the same vibration as you. They're lower. And sometimes you feel you've got to come down, but then that's not a nice feeling.
If you come down, you get depressed, you close off, and you get bottled up, and it's not a good idea.
So if you stay up there, people need to come up to you. That's
exactly
the answer, isn't it?
And you can lure them in just by magnetism. You don't have to do anything.
Yes, just smile.
If you resonate high, you're going to be, and if you see other people in their highest version, you will bring them up automatically without having to do anything. It's just from your own vibration.
Okay, brilliant. I think this is marvelous, marvelous conversation. I think very true. Energy is energy. Manifest it in yourself.
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay, let's go move on to Cheryl C. Good morning, Cheryl C. Cheryl C. So, Cheryl C here, she's gone for the colour blue. She's also, she says, is this the right time to start a business? Is this the right time to start a business? And actually, working your numbers here, you're a 347. 347 in numerology. So this is very interesting. And one of the things I'd say here, just looking at your numbers here, the 3 is about the need to communicate to other people, to build harmony, to build the triangle. The triangle here is about me, you, and the collective. So there needs to be, the collective is sometimes here, I'd say by your 4, you could actually manifest this yourself, is being like the boss, but getting everybody to think the same theme. Get everybody to think the same belief, the same story. And also when I look at this here is this, the 3 is about learning, adapting, moving around quickly. Change it that way, do it that way. It's great if things go well, providing they're going your way. You do it your way. Yes. If you do it, other people are pulling you to do it their way, then that's not your way. And then you don't like that. But you need to have things going your way. And it's important here. Once you get this is great. But the 4 is stubborn, very stubborn in its sense here. It needs to have grounding. It needs to feel like it's very secure. It's almost the 3 wants to feel lively and free, and the 4 wants to be stubborn and fixed. And also here, being a cardinal sign that you are here, you've got this energy to be able to express ideas, which is your 3, be able to adapt, be able to invent, be able to, hey, I'll take something from nothing and build it into something amazing, providing it follows your pathway, especially with your 4. And then your final number here, the 7. The 7 is very spiritual, very psychic, and it really needs to feel here. This is interesting. That the 7 is, I want to generate comfort. I want to generate a feeling of feeling nice. This has got to be nice. It's got to look nice. It's got to smell nice. It's got to be nice. So when you're starting a career for yourself here, and is it the right time to start a career? Looking at these energies at the moment, they're strong. But also looking at this year, which I thought was interesting, you're in a 167 year. So the 7 is still prominent. But now you've got a 1, I want to lead. 6, very good for business. Very good for business. 6 is about building a community, getting out there, communicating to people. 7, sometimes here, is not the normal way of communicating. It's often here through media. media and areas like this here. It's not your normal way of communicating. So actually, we're going through a time period like this, and actually, media is probably a very strong time for you. Let's go and pop down the road to have you. And yes, what would you like to say?
So, Cheryl. So, Cheryl is a Libra, and the sun in Libra is between Jupiter and Mars on either side.
Whoa, that's strong.
And there's Capricorn moon and other indicators that tell me that you had to be like too much responsibilities at a very young age. So you had to harden yourself at a young age. And what happens when you're Libra is that the hard part is like in your mind, you split in two. So there's the hard aspect, the one that had to be strict with herself and, you know, self-sustain and be responsible and all that. And then the other part that feels that you need somebody to hold on to, that somebody else is the one that has to, you know, take the reins of the situation and is looser, right? So these two aspects, what happens with Libra is that they have these two personalities in their mind. So it's the stunned child turned into an adult too early, and the more playful side that just wants to hang around, have fun, and be loose. And in that way, it's very easy to disempower yourself and to give your power away, which is also very typical in Libra. But of course, that this year with Libra, you're going to have conflicts. You're going to end up fighting with people. Okay? So the key is to actually come to terms with that hard part of yourself that is always demeaning you and telling you you shouldn't do things, that's the wrong way to do things, you know, and all these bad words inside you. So just asking that aspect of you what it needs and comfort it. Because otherwise you're going to disempower yourself and be a little bit too obsessive. So your more strict side can come up when you partner with other people, and you have a North Node in Scorpio, which says you really have to learn to partner with others and exchange things at a deeper level, not just stay superficially. So yeah.
Yes, I think for you, Cheryl. So actually, we're about starting a business this year. Is this a good time, do you think, astrologically, for her to start a business this particular period?
I don't have the rising sign, so it's difficult to actually specify in that. But I would say, like, if your idea is to start a business on your own, that's one thing. But really, it's not. You should more do things in cooperation with others. But if you want to cooperate with others, first you have to cooperate in yourself. So I believe this has to be settled. Your inner dialogue, your inner fight, that demon and the angel have to come to terms between them before you can actually partner with somebody at an equal level.
That's the 3 and the 4. That's the 3 and the 4. The 3 is about I want to be free. The 4 has this responsibility and this serious side of life here, which sometimes the 3 says, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to get too serious. And the 4 says, yes, go and have freedom, but don't forget to come back home. You know the time. You know the responsibilities we've got.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you don't settle that inside your mind, because it's an inner discussion with that part of you that had to be very serious when very young, if you don't do that, then what's going to happen is when you enter a partnership, you're going to project one of both sides onto the other person. Yeah. So maybe the other person is going to be free and not in the business, and you're going to be serious and holding on to it, or vice versa. So there will be no balance there. So it's important that you get that straight inside you.
I think it's a very interesting point to talk about this, and sometimes we all it's not just Libra this, but I think a lot of us have that internal dialogue we go on with ourselves here, how we think of ourselves so seriously, and yet we project such a fun side, and yet sometimes we need to understand this serious side of our nature, that we do need to understand it, warm it a little bit, and yes, become more positive in ourselves through it. I'm not saying we're being negative through it, but not at all. But I think to recognise it and see that, I think it is immense. Lovely. Right, so look at your cards here. Cheryl. So left and right, let's go for the right. Let's go for the right. Right. Okay, it's a good time to start a business right now. And interesting enough here, Now, it's interesting here because there's something missing. There's something missing here. There's something's blocking and something's missing. Something wants to start, but it's not there. It's always like there's a person, something, or an energy that says here, whoa, 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 not just yet. But the card that comes up to save you here is, which is almost like thinking, where's things going? Why is it not moving ahead so quickly at the minute? How do I make things move ahead? What do I have to do to people? One thing I wouldn't say you have to do is go and overcharm. You wouldn't have to overcharm it because you're playing too much into other people's laps. Sometimes we need our own power. But here's the other bit. Here's the other bits here, which, yeah, for some reason the camera is a bit funny this morning. But it's the Four of Cups. And basically, it's the card here says you're contemplating where you're going, what you're doing. Let a little bit of magic come into your world. And believe me, it does. You've got the Sun card. You will find that be this year, it is a good time to start a business. I think at the major moment that you're going through at the moment, it may not be right now, but towards the end of the year, immense. It's a very good time. At the moment, there's something missing. There's people missing, or an understanding missing. There's a block that's, how do we overcome this part? And it needs to just think about things for a while. Just let a bit of magic come in from the universe and just harmonizing out, sending out the right energy, and it comes back to you. And then towards the end of the year, I think you're in immense time.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Phil, for in general, the energies won't. Like right now, it's a lot of containment energy, and things are not like we want things where we want to go, things we want to move, we want to start business, we want to do this, we want to do that, and it's not happening because it's more towards the end of the year when things will start happening.
Yes, that's
right
what
now,
I think.
It's time
Yes,
for things not to happen.
Yes.
So you feel frustration and all the old patterns that are not allowing you to actually resonate with making that happen from a different space.
Absolutely, that's what I saw in the cards there, because the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Wands in conflict there. One wanting something to happen, and the other one saying something's missing. Something is missing, whether it's a person, people, ideas, the way to get going, and it just needs to, whoa, take your time. But the idea with the Sun card there is immense. Yes, do it. But have a little bit of time on this. Have a bit of time. Good. Okay, right, let's go and have a word with Sarah. Sarah's down the road here, and just look at her colour here. She's gone for the colour turquoise, and she says, what will happen for me in the next month? Well, this is her month anyway, because she's 14th, the 8th, she's a Leo, and what will happen in next month? And your numbers here, interestingly enough here, you're a 369. And the 9 part here is about endings and beginnings, that experience that you go through your life here thinking that, great, something new started. And then you go through your life and think, oh, let's come to an end. And then something new starts. And then, oh, let's come to an end. And what happens here? Why does this happen? Well, it's interesting here because the 3 part here says, yay! A little bit similar there to Cheryl's 3. But yay, I want to go out there, find fun, find people, network, talk, chat. It's great. But you've got a very wise 9. Very wise 9 that's going to be an old soul from previous times. And your 6 here is a little bit of a clue because it says it wants to build foundation, family responsibilities, but you're also having to learn what the responsibilities of friendship, family and things like this are. Because it's not easy, because your 9 here says here, well, what you think is stability won't turn out as stability. It actually changes. But what it changes to is just go through the transformation. This is very Pluto stuff. And find out where is we need to go and be. So for this month where I think you're going, and actually looking at numbers now, you're in a 178. 178 as you go through this year, this whole year. So part of the energy of this is the 1 is to say, yes, manifestation of the self. Yes, focus on myself, focus on me and be me. And rather actually trying to, although you're probably being a 9, being a healer, there's also the energy here healing yourself. And your 7 here is a spiritual side, what you're building spiritually, to then understand yourself more, your connection to the world, the earth, the spirit plane, and understand what your purpose here is. Then you're understanding your 9, and then that figures out to an 8 this year. That's when you become super, super powerful. Super powerful. And you're twitching your lips there going, no, yes, no. But that's your numerology, and I'm not budging from that. So you can tell me what you like, but I'm not budging for the numerology.
No, no, no. I'm not saying no. I'm saying like it's an interesting chart, and Sarah just happened to slip in the time of birth, which was interesting. So I actually included the time of birth. That's the same Sarah, right? I
Yes.
imagine
Yep.
Sarah Creek, and so she's a Capricorn rising, but it's Sun Saturn duetto.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay, so that's like here I am, I'm the boss kind of energy. There's a Pluto and Scorpio generation, of course. Pluto Neptune, Pluto Moon in Cancer. Okay, so we
Okay.
have all these insecurities and cellular memories of like a lot of insecurities, plus a Lilith Lilith in Taurus in the fourth house. So Sarah is very sensitive to what people are feeling. And together with that Sun Saturn, it's like, okay, I can feel what people are feeling, but the downside of Leo is to get stuck in the past because of those insecurities.
Yes, it's a
And
big
not,
Leo thing, isn't it? Is about the past.
yeah. And so when Leo gets stuck in the past, it starts to get frustrated. And it's like, this energy of frustration. I'm getting angry. And the key here is to just, if you get frustrated, let go. Let go. As Phil said, just change, change, change. But all that Saturn energy is like, and then the Capricorn rising comes from Sagittarius and says, God, I want to be free. Uranus is Sagittarius.
Oh
And
wow.
so I want to be free. I want to just move. I just want to. So there's this freedom, frustration dilemma, right? So one thing to keep in mind here, there's also an aspect which talks about there's a lot of containment, a lot of inner control. It's to understand that, okay, if things are fixed, they're fixed. If things change, they change.
They
If
do.
you feel people, you're feeling people.
Yeah.
You're not responsible for what people are feeling. You're responsible for yourself. Okay? So contain yourself, hold yourself, connect to your body, let go of what other people feel and think, and just be there.
Yeah.
And be there.
Mm.
So the high Capricorn is being able to sustain yourself, and automatically from there you will be able to support people, but it will not be an effort because it will be something that you just have to be there. So say, for example, I'm at a job and I'm like frustrated, Leo, looking at the past because this isn't going like I'm supposed to be going. So it's like, okay, the high part would be, okay, I'm here. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be. This is very interesting. Life is trying to teach me something. So I'm going to accept it. So that's how it has to be, like the mind shift. Otherwise, it's going to be very frustrating.
Mm.
Sarah is from a generation which it's totally different from our generation. It's
Yes.
very
Yes.
much wiser, and they really adapted things very easily. So it's this dilemma of having to sustain and hold, feel a lot of things, a lot of it not yours, learn to let go of what is not yours, leave codependency, just don't forget about people recognizing you. This is not a life to be recognized. This is a life for you to shine and show light, shed light to others.
I think there's a big thing, and I think here one of Sarah's things I think that I would say here too is that she's there as a massive support and a light for other people, and sometimes to be careful there's a lovely light there to support. To be careful it doesn't get taken on too much emotionally, that she gets pulled down with it, pulled down
Yeah,
with other people's
an
dilemmas.
example. Yeah, imagine you're a lighthouse, okay? So
Yes.
you're a lighthouse on top of a rock. So there will be days where the storm just hits the lighthouse, it hits the walls, it hits everything. But there will be other days that the sun comes out and you see the seagulls and the people are laughing at the beach. And you're the one that observes this in awe of a different day every single day. And just being there, being a deacon, shining your light, guiding people with your light, and just your freedom comes from being able to contemplate a different day every single day.
I think that's a lovely way to express that. I think Sarah's got unique energy here. It's a 369. That 9 is very wise. And if you use the wisdom there for yourself to understand things change, things move on. Every day is a different day, and not to hold on to things too much as an Leo stuff to the past, and move on and refresh. Refresh and revitalize. Yes, refresh and revitalize. I think that's a good thing there. Folks, what can I say here? What can I say, Guiomar? Thank you so much. I know some of you also written in during the show that you like a reading. Anne, sorry, you written in that. We can do your reading, which will be on Sunday or the following Wednesday, or even next Tuesday, but definitely on Sunday.
But we need more information because just the month and date is not enough.
Ah, yes. And we need for you there your date of birth, which is your day, your month, and your year. And if you could also send us your favourite colour, a colour because it helps us tune in as well, and your question. Yes, could you please say if my love interest man is available? Will he be available soon? We'd love to answer that for you. If you could put in your full date of birth there, that'd be magic. We will do that for you on Sunday or Wednesday next week, especially for the astrology show if you want to do that. But in the meantime, folks, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Guiomar, for coming in and sharing the show with me today. It's always a pleasure. Always is. And we just want to say thank you for joining us, says the producer, this morning. Have a great day. And also here, Cafe Clairvoyance, we're back on Sunday evening, every Sunday, 7 p.m. EU, 6 p.m. UK. Join me for an hour of spiritual chat and live readings. And next Tuesday, I'm joined by Helen Grady, who's a spiritual medium. And next Wednesday, we're back again. Can't wait.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, take care. Have a wonderful week. Thank you very much for joining in. Don't forget, big love, and a burger. Love and burger. It's all the same. Okay, take care now. Loads of love. And you love that bit. I know you love burgers. I know you do. You keep telling me you love burgers. Yeah, see, I told you. Anyway, goodbye.